The following program contains scenes and language of a frank and explicit nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, live now.
David Phelps, Celebrity Boxing. Don't miss Trash Talking Radio every Tuesday night from 7 to 10.
Yo, this is the Hammer. Fred Ramses. Check it out. Trash Talk Radio, 7 to 10 every Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? Do it. Be there. Hi, this is Harry, sanitary engineer. You're listening to Trash Talk Radio.
Next question, Jeff. Where are you? Right there.
Yeah. I just want to thank
TrashTalkingRadio.com.
For all you've done to your bodies. It's still real to me, damn it! I mean, you're awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Scott, for saying what needed to be said. I don't want to see it. I don't want to leave.
Hey, I want to talk to Mike Trash, man. Don't be putting me down like that. I appreciate it. Hey, would you shut up?
Hi, this is John Wayne Bobbitt on Trash Talking Radio. We're on every Tuesdays from 7 to 10. TrashTalkingRadio.com.
Hey, this is Uncle Paulie from General Hospital. You better listen to me or end up with cement boots. Every Tuesday, 7 to 10. TrashTalkingRadio.com. Be there.
I'm Melissa Bacelar. Oh my God. No. Oh my God. No. It's Trash Talking Radio. It's Tuesday. It's 7 to 10.
This is the Reverend Bob Levy, and you're listening to Trash Talk Radio. Only here, motherfucker.
Hey, this is Billy Mays from the grave, and you're listening to Trash Talking Radio Show on TrashTalkingRadio.com. This is the only radio show that you ever need. So listen in every Tuesday, 7 to 10 p.m. every week. And now, you have instant entertainment. And if there's not enough, if you act right now, you can listen to the archives for absolutely free. Now, how much would you pay? Call now. Operators are standing by.
This is Danny Bonaducci. Nobody trash talks like me. That's why I quit the Partridge Family. A bunch of goofballs dressed up in red velvet suits. How embarrassing. If David Cassidy was there right now, I'd tell him what I think about him. Why? Because you're listening to Trash Talk, 7 to 10 p.m.
Welcome to the Trash Talking Radio Show. Please take a seat and help yourself to the snacks and beverages. The show will begin in just a few seconds. Are you ready? Are you seated? Please welcome your host. He is the singer/songwriter of the Uncle Sam Band. He is the host with the most, Mr. Tuesday Night, Every Woman's Fantasy. He is the manager of champions, singer of songs, and actor without a script. He will be the first against the wall when the revolution comes. He is a lover of life. He is a Tesla driving, song singing, talk show hosting, son of a gun. Please welcome the vital idol, Classy Mike Trash.
Trash Talking Radio Tuesday night, and it's the best night of the week. Of course, you knew that because I'm here now. Hey, how's everyone doing? Everyone have a good Easter that celebrates Easter? I am just about done posting this to the places I'm supposed to post, and just got to do one last place. And I always forget where that last place is, and share to a group. I think it is. I think that's what it is. Group name: Trash Talking Radio. That would be it. I think I got them all now. All right, now I think I got everything, and I even got it where it was supposed to be. So it's the 6th of April. Yay! Finally getting nice outside. Whew, I've been waiting for that. I actually had the windows open last night, and it was nice and cool and not too crazy. And I like this kind of weather a lot better than previous weathers. And so I just kind of felt it's just about time we had a little bit better weather than we've had recently. So tonight we got a niche report. We have We have a couple reporters on the side. My interns, if you will be reporting. I've got a report on Coinundrum, a report on being arrested for your temperature. I got a report on COVID. I know we're all excited about that. And I got an octopus report. So, if you needed a report on an octopus, you've come to the right place. Without further ado, and I have no further ado, so we will get started. And it seems like somebody on Facebook is commenting on my posts, but they don't really comment on my posts. They comment on whatever they have. It's a link, I think, that goes to an X-rated thing, and so I can't. Let's see if I can figure out which one it is. Okay, yeah, they seem to not even be posting. I'm wondering what happens if they're getting captured somewhere, because like I just got a notice that somebody posted. Michael Lucas Michael Lucas commented on one of my videos, and I don't know which video. I'm assuming, that may be, no, it would have been the video we're recording right now, probably. So if I go, held for review, could that be it? No, it's not reviewed. So I don't know exactly what I'm missing, but I'm missing something. Maybe it's a live one. Maybe if I did that and then I hit comments, it'll show up there. Nope, I don't know. Anyway, all right. Glad you could be with us, with us. Glad you could be with us. Gonna get the show started, and I've got a fun thing that I'm going to be doing a little later on, and hopefully it will be entertaining. So we'll start with the entertainment section. Wow, we got a really, I'm not a big rapper, but everyone knows, you hear these people and you know their names because they're a household name now, and they weren't, say 30 years ago. But this person is a household name, and so he took an overdose. And he's been in a coma ever since. So, his name is DMX. Now, I don't have anything against him. I saw a couple interviews with him. He was pretty cool. But it's really sad that he had this overdose. I mean, I don't have any problem with people taking drugs. That's their choice. But I feel sad when these people take an overdose and can't recover. And it seems like this person is probably not going to recover from all the things that they're saying. So, he may be doomed as far as that goes. I'm going to see if this actually posted on my page. Let's see. Here's my page. Let's see. Did it post? No, it did not. Alright, why didn't it post? It should have posted. Well, we'll put it in there by hand, and we know it's there. I also got to check to see if my streams are all working. But it seems that I got the hang of the YouTube thing finally. And actually, later on, I'm going to play one of our new songs, the music video that we recently did for this song. And hopefully, you'll be entertained by that. But until then, how about we go to, let's see here. Let's check our streams. We know it's working on Facebook. And then we see, let's see here. Here is Twitter. Let's see if that's working. It appears to be working on Twitter. That's always good. Twitter has been really pretty much the mainstay. So the bottom line is that if you can, get one that will work every week, which has been pretty much them, they've worked every week, that's a good thing. And Twitch has been pretty good too. Twitch has worked every week. Occasionally I have problems with Facebook, but it's rare. I mean, usually I've been dumped a couple times from them, but sometimes it's from Comcast and other times it's from Facebook. And then, of course, YouTube, I'm finally got the thing under control, so that's a good thing too. But anyway, so we got DMX, he's been in a coma for, almost a week now. It says here, attorney for Murray Richam told Yahoo Sunday, I have no such knowledge of DMX being removed from life support and breathing on his own. He said there was no change from the original news as far as he knew. Richmond and a spokesman for DMX said they misspoke earlier when they said the rapper had been taken off life support and was breathing on his own. DMX was hospitalized on Friday for a heart attack related to a drug overdose. He's improving in health. I can confirm that DMX has been taken off life support and is now breathing on his own. Well, wait a minute. Didn't he say he had no such knowledge? Oh, okay. Anyway, 50-year-old superstar, whose real name is Earl Simmons, was transported to the hospital in White Plains, New York. The first outlet to the report of the story, he was described as having some brain activity and in a vegetative state. So if he's in a vegetative state, it doesn't matter if he's alive or not. He's pretty much dead, in my opinion. So it's sad. I liked some of DMX's stuff, and I'm really sad that guy took the overdose. It says DMX has been taken off. Okay, it says in 2019, his release from federal prison for tax fraud, he voluntarily entered substance abuse treatment. Well, that didn't work. It says here he checked himself into a rehab, blah, blah, blah. But that's really sad. I am very sad for him. Oh, here's a little report. Let's see if we can get the sound on this.
Said the rapper no longer needed to be on life support and was breathing again on his own. DMX is under treatment at White Plains Hospital, and according to family members, he suffered a heart attack. Right around 7:30, the publicist told Eyewitness News DMX was no longer on life support. Then at 10:30, he corrected himself. TMZ was first to report on DMX's hospitalization, saying it was the result of a drug overdose. Well, speaking tonight to Eyewitness News, his attorney said he could not confirm that, only that DMX was in grave condition.
Yeah, that's... if he's brain dead, there's not much they can do for him.
Members of the family, and that's the source of my information. I pray for him, I hope for him, and I know that I hope that he's going to make it.
I don't know.
DMX's real name is Earl Simmons. He was born in Mount Vernon and grew up in Yonkers.
It's really sad. Oh, don't play this thing. Doggone it. I hate when they put commercials in there. But the next story that I have was also, this is from TMZ. It says prognosis not looking good after overdose. Kids flying in. And that's why I read that he's pretty much gone. We're not going to see him survive, I'm pretty sure. So it's just sad to see this guy who is such talent and so young. He's 50, freaking 50 years old, and not going to be around anymore. I saw him he was actually on Comic Book Men, which is a really interesting thing for him to be on, because I never would have imagined him being a comic book guy, but he surprised the people on Comic Book Men. If you never saw that show, it's an entertaining show. It ended in 2018, and it's a cool show about comic books, but another side of comic books. So these geeks I am very impressed by how much of a geek they are, but they tell stories of when the first appearance of this person is and all that, and they know everything about comic books, and they're geeky. It's funny, but it's it takes geeks to run the world. That's all I've got to say about that. So, but anyway, this article here said that okay, the newest update is 7:25 p.m. Pacific time. I don't know what day that is, but it says we got an official statement from DMX's rep last night. Earl Simmons was rushed to the hospital. Okay, this was the update when he went to the hospital. So it says here, suffered a drug overdose. Sources close to rapper tell TMZ that the OD occurred at his home around 11 p.m. And sources say the overdose triggered a heart attack. So he was rushed to the hospital. We got to all that stuff in a vegetative state. And he may not make it. That's what they say in this article. That's where I read it. He may not make it. So, I don't know. If he makes it, it'll be a miracle. It truly will be a miracle. So, there's a lot of articles out there on it. And I can't really tell you much other than the prognosis doesn't appear good. So, keep your ears open, and we'll see what happens to Mr. DMX. And hopefully he climbs out of the hole he's got right now. But it's probably going to be a rough one for him. So, Friends reunion. So David Schwimmer, of the Friends, he's offering new details. The pandemic delayed Friends reunion. It's set for next week. So I used to watch that show, and I used to enjoy that show. I don't think I watched the early ones, and I didn't watch the end ones. I watched in between pretty much, and it was a good show. It was a little bit out there because where can you get a place in New York that is that big and have jobs that are that menial? Just kind of funny, it was, and by the way, there were no black people for the most part, no Puerto Ricans, no anything but white, so that wasn't realistic. So I liked the show, but it wasn't realistic. So I just kind of think it's funny. So it says here, David Schwimmer confirmed a Friday appearance on the UK's Graham Norton show. He'll be shooting the hugely anticipated cast reunion next week in Los Angeles. The gang, Schwimmer plus Courtney Cox, Jennifer Aniston, and Matt LeBlanc, Lisa Kudrow, and Matthew Perry will assemble the same stage at the Warner Brothers lot where they filmed the sitcom for 10 seasons, from 1994 to 2004. Every one of them... Let's see, I don't know too much about... I haven't seen too much of David Schwimmer, but, Courtney Cox has been around. Jennifer Aniston has done really, really fun stuff. Lisa Kudrow I've seen here and there. So they've all went on. Actually, Matt LeBlanc was the host of Top Gear for, I think, 2 seasons, maybe 3 seasons. That was interesting because I never thought of him as a gearhead, but he really wasn't a gearhead. He was just he was himself. But it was I enjoyed it while he was on there. So yeah, it says here Norton asked Schwimmer to clarify whether he would be appearing as himself or as his character Ross. I'll be myself. There's nothing scripted. We're not in character. So we're all ourselves, the real people, but not the entire time. There's one section of it I don't want to give away, but where we all read something. So there you go. It's going to be a table read probably, and they're going to be themselves until the table read, I'm thinking. So I don't know. We'll see. I would probably watch that. I don't know. Is it going to be live or is it going to be? I'm thinking it's going to be. Well, they said taped, so I guess it's not going to be live. Is that what it said? Let me see if it says here. Cast reunion. It doesn't say, but I'm thinking it's going to be taped. You don't want to do that thing live. That would be kind of embarrassing if you don't do it right. But hey, a lot of people like that, and if you didn't like Friends, well, you probably didn't watch it. So anyway, let's go on to the next thing. Next thing. Okay, I hit it all right now. There is a... Where is it? I got a couple stories that I want to do, but they're not in any particular order. I think I'll wait. I was going to throw one in there now, but yeah, don't want to do it yet. All right. Steve McQueen's comical contract demands. You know, it's funny because musicians have all kinds of funny little things that they demand happen for them to do a certain role or things like that. And I think that's kind of funny, but, you know, if you're the person that's trying to do a project and then you have all these stupid little demands, it oftentimes causes an irritation on the person trying to do the deed. So you got to think about that when, you know, if you're involved in the contract, you got to think about what kind of things you're going to demand on your contract. But Steve McQueen was pretty big at one time, and Steve McQueen's comical contract demands are revealed. And you heard it here first if you didn't read Yahoo. So here is the stuff that Steve McQueen himself demanded on his role in, let's see here, the Thomas Crown Affair. And I kind of remember the Thomas Crown Affair, sort of. I don't know if I've ever watched it, but I think I watched it, but I really don't even remember what it was about. But, you know, he's a big name in Hollywood, so he could demand whatever he wanted. So here are some of his demands. He had to, the producers had to commit to delivering a set of barbells equaling 200 pounds and a set of dumbbells equaling about 80 pounds to his dressing room while he was at the location in Boston and transporting his motorcycle to wherever he wanted it. And that's probably going to be pretty expensive. I mean, back then, you didn't have to have as big a budget as you do now, but that would be a fairly expensive thing. I mean, transporting a car from California to here cost about, I think it cost me $1,200. So that's in current times. Back then it would probably cost $400. So a motorcycle, you're thinking about, might be about $400. Barbells, I don't know what they run, but he probably wanted quality barbells. He said that the contract demands are revealed in an internal memorandum that has been unearthed by Professor Iris Wells in researching his forthcoming biography on Norman Jewison, who directed McQueen in The Cincinnati Kid and The Thomas Crown Affair in 1965 and 1968. Now we're talking about 60 years ago, right? 40 years, 50, 60. Yeah, about, 45 years ago, give or take. No, it'd be 40, what did I say, 45? No, 40 would take us to 50, 60. It's about 55 to 60 years ago. So that, when you talk about $400 to transport his bike, $400 and $500, somewhere around there, that was a lot of money back then. You could buy a car for $3,000. So, just to give you an idea. I mean, there was the SS Nova, which came out in the early 70s, late 60s, was about $3,500. So that was a loaded sports car, well, not sports car, but muscle car. So most of your cars were a lot cheaper than that. That gives you just something to compare it to. By then, McQueen was already a big star, having films such as The Great Escape of 1963, best known for his character's nail-biting motorbike chase. His contract also reveals he was paid $750,000 to play the central role, a multimillionaire who orchestrates a bank heist twice as much as Poitier and Steiger made together in the heat of the night. So he made more than now $750,000 today. It's not a lot of money, but back then, you know, people were making maybe $12,000 a year or $10,000 a year, so $750,000 was pretty good. So he made that to play the central role. He received a further 15 cents per 15% of the gross receipts after breaking even. So after they hit their, let's say their budget was, well, it had to be at least $750,000 to pay for him, but it was probably, $2 million. Let's say the gross was $2 million, because it didn't, you figure your cost in today would have been a lot more. It would have been, $100 million. But let's say that just out of thinking what the cost of things were, let's say let's stretch it and say it was a $5 million movie. So after they made $5 million, he wanted 15% of the gross receipts. So if they made $10 million, he got 15% of, let's say the first 5 would go to pay and everything off, and then he got it on top of his $750,000. He got 15% of the second $5 million. That's a pretty good chunk of change. So he was also being paid $1,000 per week expenses, and be given the best dressing room available from United Artists and on location. He was a fairly, people today wouldn't realize how big of a star he was, but he did pretty good. And it says here, what it was really about is insecurity and distrust of authority. He wanted everything in writing. He felt that he was entitled to. And in those days, Hollywood was a transition. He was coming out of the studio era. So to keep him happy, the studios gave him whatever they wanted. They felt that if he was happy, he'd make a better movie and everybody would do well. So that's what everybody... If people would do that in everyday life, like I worked at a place, they actually told me, we don't want our employees to be too happy. I said, why? I would expect to be... I would want to be too happy. Why wouldn't you want your employees to be too happy? That sounded so far-fetched to me that you don't want to make us too happy. In other words, so the situation was this. I got paid salary by the company. I got paid commission by the company. Then I got spiffs, not by the company. The spiffs were put out by the vendors. So I worked for a distribution company. So a vendor would come in and say, I'll give you $10 for each one of these that you sell. That sounded pretty good. Why not? So then you think, okay, I can get $10 a piece, and then I sell 100 of them. Well, that's $1,000, right? Well, they didn't want us to make $1,000 off of one client because we would be too happy. They believed that if we're too happy, we're going to try to spend all our time. Their idea is the truth is greed, but their idea is if he makes $1,000 off this vendor, and he makes $1,000 off that vendor, and he makes $1,000 off of this vendor, well, that's $3,000 that we're not paying him, and you know what? We want a piece of it. So then they took that thing and they said, okay, we'll give you up to $300 per vendor. So what happens to all the extra money? They kept it to themselves. That was so uncool. Do you realize that if they had paid me what I was making, what I really truly would have made, I would have made so much money with that company that I would have been unbelievably happy. I would have been so happy every day I would have walked into work, and I would have been skipping my way to my desk because I would have been real happy and ready to work any day that they would give me a phone. But as it were, they said you get $300 per vendor maximum. And that, that was really a shame. So, I still did okay. But I didn't do nearly what I would have done. And the only big anger I have with that is that they didn't tell the vendors, and they kept the money to themselves. So if I made $1,000, they got $700, and I got $300. That wasn't fair in my eyes. And if I had free insurance or other benefits that, I wouldn't have probably mattered it. I wouldn't have cared as much. But after 30 years of that, I think it was time to go. So I retired and decided, whatever you want. But, I made good money there. I'm just saying I would have made more money. And I wanted to be the one that was being greedy, not my own company. So, it sucked that that's the way it was. But, if you don't make the rules, you don't get to, Anyway, Nietzsche, make sure you hang around for your segment. You'll really like the segment. I did some really cool stuff, I think. I think you'll like it. So I want you to definitely hang around for your segment. Anyway, we were talking about who was, Steve McQueen. So Steve McQueen says McQueen nickel and dimed the production at every turn, once invoicing $250 because Jewison had filmed his watch. He became increasingly paranoid over the course of the shoot, and the production had to pay for police for 24-hour security at his rental house. That's what I call cool. All right, good. Glad. I think you'll really you're going to laugh at least at what I did to your thing, and I think you're going to like what I did. I'm toying around with new ideas. When I have shorter videos, I can run them through this special thing that I today's the first day I've experimented with it. So this will be the first video that I did with this with this thing the way it is, and I'll be playing it probably about 30 minutes. So it's but it's pretty good. So and the thing came out to like 5 minutes, so I was able to fit it onto the 5 minutes. But it was really it's kind of cool what happened to it. So I hope you like it. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. I didn't try to mess it up for you. I tried to make it a little more entertaining than you already did, and you did do a good job on this one. But I enhanced it pretty good. It's not my normal video. It's my normal video plus. So let's put it that way. Also, it says here, Norman Jewison only became the director of In the Heat of the Night because McQueen turned down another project, an unrealized call, an unrealized Western called Judgment of Corey, which Jewison wanted to film with a star. Let's see, where else do we got? McQueen was a cheapskate in many more ways than one. Quoting Mr. Jewison's recollection of working with him, when Steve left the set at night, he always hit me up or one of the crew for $5 for gas money. Steve McQueen, who was making $750,000 for the film and $1,000 a week for expenses, hit him up for $5 for gas. McQueen would then peel off in his Jaguar, Ferrari, or Porsche. I can honestly say that he was the most difficult person I've ever worked with because the rewards were so great. So it just was funny. When I read that, I just started laughing because I couldn't remember. I know I've seen him in some of the movies. I just can't remember any of them off the top of my head. I'd have to look at his filmography and see if I could remember any of them. But it was pretty interesting. Then Godzilla versus Kong. I watched that this weekend. Interesting movie. It's basically Kong movie. It's it was. I won't ever. I don't think Kong's a very good actor, so I will never give him high ratings. But I got to tell you, it was better than I thought it would be. But it was still Kong. You know, but it did good because box offices these days are non-existent for the most part. So for him to actually make money, that's a good thing. And he ended up doing good but you don't have to do much to be good nowadays. He did. Says here, third streaming ratings firm Samba TV reported that 3.6 million households watched at least 5 minutes of the Warner Brothers Godzilla vs. Kong in the first 5 days that it was out, which is March 31st to April 4th. While HBO Max didn't provide any official viewership on the figures, basically it said, I think they said here, note polls from terrestrial. Okay, so they're only able to poll terrestrial smart TVs, and that's something I don't have, so they can't poll that. Its data said that Warner Brothers said Sunday it's the a much larger viewing audience than any other film or show on HBO since the launch. But it says here that it did $48.1 million in domestic box office in the first 5 days, which is an undeniable hit. And the thing is, if we didn't have a pandemic, that 41 or 48.1 would have probably been 200 million. So, because people like me may have gone to see it in the theater, and people like me don't right now. So, I am going to get my shot on the 14th, my first shot on the 14th. So, we'll see what happens. I figured I'd do it the day after the show, so that way if I get sick from it, I can, relax and all that stuff. But anyway, that's that. So the Kong is definitely out there, and it's doing pretty good. So that's got to be a sign that the movie industry is trying to make a comeback. I don't know how they're going to do that, though, because people just aren't ready to go back yet, at least as far as I know. I don't think they are. But I do know one guy, a friend of mine that goes to the theaters. And it must be nice to go to the theaters because there's nobody there, and your chances of getting sick aren't as big because there's not that many people there. But when people start going, I don't know. It's just I'm worried about that. So anyway, save our shows. Okay, there's a couple shows on the cutting room floor right now, and the question is, what? All right, now that's not much of a save our shows. Vote now to save Young Rock, Call Me Cat, For Life, and more. Well, is that it? Where's the... That's really weird. Oh, maybe that's a video. Oh, that's probably it. It's a video. It's a video. We got to figure out what they're going to say. I thought it was going to be an article here, and I was like, well, where's the rest of it? Well, finish this stupid little commercial. We can figure out what they're going to say. Come on. You can do it. I believe in you. Whatever Boximi is. All right. We got a couple seconds yet. Oh, can we skip that? No, by now it doesn't matter anymore, does it? Let's go. Here we go.
The 411 on USA Today's Save Our Shows poll. The USA Today exclusive poll is in its 24th year. We list 25 shows that are on the bubble between renewal and cancellation. You vote for your favorite at usatoday.com. And USA Today TV editor Gary Levin joins us now. Gary, all right, first, how does a show end up on the bubble?
Usually it's ratings. Sometimes it's creative quality. Sometimes it's that the show is produced by an outside studio, or the financial arrangements are not attractive to the network that's airing it, or or an actor's contract is up. So there's a variety of reasons, but ultimately it comes down to kind of a mix of those things.
One show on the bubble is For Life, an ABC drama produced by Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. The show's star, Nicholas Pinnock, explained why he thinks the series deserves a vote.
Because it's a relevant show that needs to be seen, and there's more to the story. We're not finished yet.
What kind of
Hey, that guy sounds like he has a British accent.
impact does this poll have on the shows that are voted for?
In 2000,
probably none.
2017 and 2018, a sci-fi show called Timeless on NBC was rescued. Last year's winner, another NBC show called Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, was also given a second season. It does give fans an outlet to show their love for a show in ways that are not necessarily measured by things like Nielsen ratings.
Support your favorite show and vote now at usatoday.com/entertainment.
Well, darn. That didn't tell me
Because
anything.
I'm on insulin, I
That
need
sucks.
to be prepared for a low blood sugar emergency.
That told me nothing.
And so do my family, friends, and coworkers.
Okay, we don't want to talk to
my
you.
network.
Okay, USA Today. Where do we go to this? Entertainment, maybe. Save our shows. Is this it? What's on the cutting? Okay. Do we have a list of shows? Oh, here we go. Renewed or almost renewed. Oh, good. Station 19 is one I watch. The Connors I watch. On the bubble. And canceled. Okay. So the ones they didn't even have the Rock show on there anyway. They were trying to make me oh wait, here we go. All right. They buy, how do they do this? Oh, that's by by station. Looks like the Goldbergs are on the bubble. I watched that. Let's see here. CBS. I don't watch much CBS, I think. Yeah, I really don't watch any CBS. Looking at it. Okay, then we're talking about Fox. I do watch Fox. Okay, do I watch any of these? The Resident. I watched that one. And that one needs voted on. I can't vote on it, though. Why can't I vote on it? Then we go to CW. Stargirl's on the... Supergirl's canceled. I heard about that. And I read that, I think I have a story on this later, that they want to try to bring back the Green Arrow, which would be interesting. So, and Batwoman, I'm really surprised that got renewed, because I heard that the new Batwoman was not as popular as the old Batwoman. So, it's interesting. Black Lightning was canceled, Supergirl and Supernatural. NBC. I watch a lot of NBC. Let's see if... Oh, Young Rock is on there. Young Rock is on the bubble. He might not make it. That's really surprising. I think the problem is that a lot of it is that the wrestling fans are probably the only thing watching it. And they should... A lot of people should watch it, because it's a good show. And you don't have to be a wrestling fan to like it. But that helps. So... interesting. All right, well, I probably should vote for him, so I will have to look at that later on. And you probably should, too. It's at usatoday.com. All right. This is a surprise to me that Mike Tyson is going to show up at AEW for a second time. I think that... they're pretty smart by getting him, because he is familiar with wrestling. He's a wrestling fan. And the baddest man on the planet is returning to AEW. I think Tony Khan's pretty smart. And that he's, reaching out to celebrity-type people to do things. He did things with Shaq. He did something with Tyson earlier. I think was Snoop Dogg part of it? I think Snoop Dogg was part of the one thing too. I think he's real smart about what he does. It says here, there are many reasons I wanted Mike to come back. He made a huge impact on last year's Double or Nothing, and we're at the point where we can bring him back in front of the fans. The fans who have come to the show in Jacksonville have added so much to AEW. Tyson's no stranger to AEW. In May, he presented Cody Rhodes with the new TNT Championship at Double or Nothing. Second appearance which came on the Wednesday following the pay-per-view, involved a scuffle with Chris Jericho, who happens to be returning to Dynamite this week, and the Inner Circle will be there. And whether it's with Jericho or in a separate segment, there are a number of ways. I think it'll be interesting. AEW, as far as I'm concerned, it keeps my interest. And a lot of the guys they hire have been on the independent scene when I was on the independent scene, and I feel really glad that they're getting their chance. So it's really kind of fun to see some of these guys. I think I worked a couple places with some of the Inner Circle. They're the only ones I remember that... Matt Sydal I also worked with when I was down in Georgia. So that's kind of cool. But anyway, Eddie Kingston, I think I've run into his name. I don't remember if he was on the show or not, but if he was, it was probably early in like 2005, 2006-ish. I know I talked about him. I don't know if I ever had him on the show or not. And I'm working on a new web page. I just got to figure out this new design program that I have has me all confused. As soon as I figure it out, I'll have the new web pages up. But I'm doing a really cool web page. I'm going to do trashtalkingradio.com is going to come up, and you have a choice of going to Trash Talking Radio, Trash Talking Acting, which is my acting resume, Trash Talking Music, which is Uncle Sam Band, Trash Talking, I forget what Trash Talk. Well, anyway, I've got all these segments of Trash Talking Radio. They'll be accessible, like UncleSamBand.us will go there as well. But I want to do this. I'm going to try to put everything together in one site. That way, people don't have to say, "What's your website?" And I can send people when I'm doing acting auditions. I can show people my acting auditions. I can show people my music videos, and I can show people different things. So I'm also going to play a song from my album video that I did just recently, and I'm going to ask my Nietzsche if he got to see Want Her Back, because if he didn't see Want Her Back, I think I'm going to play Want Her Back. So I want to play one you didn't see, because I know you're watching. So it'll be fun. Anyway, so this is interesting too. So Steve Austin interviewed Chris Jericho on Broken Skull Sessions, which I really found interesting because I kind of thought that was a WWE product. But if it was a WWE product, he wouldn't be able to do that. I just realized I didn't start the stream up on... didn't start the stream. I'm gonna pretend this is just starting. Here we go. Trash Talking Radio Tuesday night. It's the best night of the week. And welcome to the show. I forgot to do the mix. I'm so sorry I'm a little late because I thought I started the show up there on time, but I'm actually 50 minutes behind because I forgot to start the stream. So now you can be here with us as we talk about different things. Steve Austin will be interviewing Chris Jericho, which I found really, really interesting because it's like a crossover, and I didn't think Vince McMahon would allow that. So I don't know if maybe that is a Steve Austin deal, or if that is something that that maybe NBC allowed, because usually when you're with WWE, you only do WWE guys. So I found that really interesting that he's going to be interviewed on that show. But stranger things have happened because they have a lot of people that are no longer with the WWE on that show. But this is, you're interviewing the enemy in a manner of speaking. So if they do that, I will put my hats off to him, because you never have crossovers like that with a WWE thing. I mean, other areas do. Ring of Honor does crossovers. So does TNA. So does AEW. So does New Japan and all that stuff. But WWE doesn't really talk about people that are outside their little bubble, except the people that they bought their libraries from. So I found that really interesting that they would do that. All right. Let's see. That's all of that stuff. All right. Well, this is as good of a time as any to play Nietzsche's thing. So we'll do that as soon as I make sure that I gave this stuff its rightful owner. There we go. We go to that. And we do the Facebook thing. All right. I want to tell you that one of the people on this, that as far as I'm concerned, he's a member of this show, and he gives us more stuff. But we decided to animate him. So, Nietzsche's, welcome to the animated world, Nietzsche, because we have put you as an animated figure now. And I think you'll like it. I liked it. I think it's really cool. And
hey guys, it's Nietzsche. I hope
go.
Everybody's doing well. Just wanted to give my opinion on the Peacock now having the WWE Network. About 2 weeks ago, Peacock took over everything, and fortunately for me, I didn't have to go through ordering anything. My cable company carries Peacock, so pretty much I could just go right to the Peacock Network and watch the WWE. But here's the problem. They are not going to have all the stuff up probably till maybe August, early September, and the reason is they're going through every bit of the WWE library to make sure that they don't have anything on there that's offensive. They already took out the Rowdy Piper match versus Bad News Brown in WrestleMania 6. If you remember that, Piper painted half his body black. They've also taken out an issue where Vince McMahon was doing some type of song with John Cena, and I guess he used the N-word. Which, by the way, both of those things were stupid and tasteless to begin with, so I don't have a problem if I never see those again. That Piper thing was dumb. It made no sense. It was very racist. Vince McMahon using that word, I don't care. Whenever that word's used, it's never appropriate, so I have no problem with that. Peacock, they're locked in for 5 years. This network's theirs for at least 5 years. They could do whatever they want. If you remember, in the 80s, there was a lot of offensive things that we probably all laughed at back then, but today they wouldn't be accepted. You're going to have to take all that stuff out and forget about the Attitude Era. I mean, everything was offensive in the Attitude Era, if you think about it. Middle fingers left and right, the raunchiness. There was even an angle with the Nation of Domination and the Hart Foundation where I think the Hart Foundation used some racial language or did something racial. So you're going to have to wipe out the whole Attitude Era. My advice to the Peacock Network is to just simply put a disclaimer on everything that you show that's going to be offensive. Then protect yourself, because you're going to find so many things that are inappropriate. And I can think about that stupid Katie Vick angle they did in the 2000s, which was just dumb. You know, WWE did a lot of dumb things. There's no doubt about it. Austin, he was drinking beer all the time. I'm sure they're going to find that offensive. There's just going to be so many things that you're going to have to look at, and you're either going to have to say to yourself, is this offensive? Is this part of the show? What do we do as far as that? Because you're going to run into a lot of bad things. In the 80s, people said stuff that would never fly today, making fun of midgets, making fun of people where they're from and stuff, and Jesse Ventura did that a lot. He did it for the show. I don't want to ever say he's a racist, because I definitely don't think he is, but he said a lot of offensive things. I don't think Tito Santana ever found anything Jesse did offensive. If you read his book, he always felt like Jesse was great for the heel part of the announcing. A lot of people would find that offensive today, and that's the problem you're going to run into. Let's think about this. How about the Iron Sheik, the way he used to go after America and stuff and used to criticize America? Are they going to have to edit that out? in my opinion, Peacock's best way to go about all of this is just to put a disclaimer up. Now, I have no problem taking the Rowdy Piper Bad News Brown match out, and I had no problem with them taking that thing out when Vince McMahon used that awful word. There's not really going to be much of a network because so many things that the WWE did, they kind of pushed the envelope. You're not going to be able to show everything if you're going to go through everything and find if it meets the standards of the network. So, I mean, the best thing they could do, honestly, is to put a disclaimer. Some people are impatient because they had the network, and I had it too, and there was so much stuff up there. You had Saturday Night's Main Event, Wrestling Challenge had just finally been put up. There's a ton of stuff, and now you're going to have to wait till maybe August or September. I don't really mind waiting. Listen, after having this pandemic that we've had for the last 13 months, if we had to wait 3 or 4 months for the network to get everything, we shouldn't be impatient about that. Don't kid yourself. They didn't buy the network just to show the library that the WWE has. Now, that's part of it. But the big reason is they could show the live events like WrestleMania or SummerSlam or any one of those pay-per-views. They know they're going to make money on that, and that's why they really did it. But at the end of the day, you're going to get a lot of frustrated fans if you're going to pull everything. A lot of people, this was their childhood. This is what they remember. They're going to get very impatient if you start doing that. And that's just how I feel. I think the best thing to do is just put a disclaimer on everything, and then you can't go wrong there. It should be interesting to see where they go forward with this and how that's going to affect the growth of the network on Peacock. And that's all for today. Short and sweet. I hope everyone's doing well. Mike, I happen to see one of the videos you posted about the Uncle Sam band. I really like. I'll talk to you guys soon, okay? All right, bye-bye.
So there you go. There you go. I hope Nietzsche liked that. It's very entertaining to me. So that's your new image. You don't have any glasses. You must have contacts in that video. I couldn't find anybody with glasses. Nobody had glasses. Kind of sucked. So, but that was very entertaining for me anyway, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you would like to call in, I can talk to you about some of my thoughts on that. One of the things that I did think of was one of the things I thought of was with the thing that Roddy Piper did with the makeup. What it reminded me of when he split his face like that, it reminded me of Braveheart. I was trying to decide if that was his intent was to be more of like Braveheart. But I read an article that talked about him putting that makeup on and he couldn't get it off. He had to fly to the next city like that because he couldn't get he couldn't get the black part off. So that'll teach you. Trying to be a smart aleck and you end up looking kind of crazy. But yeah, that's a Roddy Piper thing. I actually watched a documentary on Roddy Piper on YouTube. It wasn't that long. It was only probably 15 minutes. Also watched one on the Iron Sheik, and it was really, really sad. The Iron Sheik, Sheiky baby. I mean, I had a pretty good friendship with him when I was in the business, and, you know, I don't anymore because I don't see him. But, what's it say? Getting it on. Yes, yeah. But but really, it was sad looking at the commentary from that from them talking about the Sheik and stuff and all the stuff he went through and drug addiction. Of course, when he was on the show, he even talked about his candy. Had to get his medicine. Had to get his medicine. So yeah. But according to that video I saw of him, he is no longer drug addicted. So I don't know if that's true or not, because I haven't seen him in years. But yeah, some people found out a way to make money for him and for themselves, I guess. So it was interesting. It was really, really interesting. But okay, on to the next thing. All right, what do we got here? Did you ever see the interview Piper did with Rich. No, I never did. I have not seen it. But, okay. Here's a... I gotta show you this video, too, because it's so bizarre. The things that these people have happened to them. So, I'm going to play this video next. This is entertaining, or somewhat entertaining. So I think you'll like this. But,
a video showing an
go.
octopus lashing out at a man on a beach last month in Western Australia has gone viral. Geologist and author Lance Carlson was about to go for a swim near the resort where he and his family were staying on March 19th when he spotted what he believed was stingray's tail striking a seagull, according to Reuters. Upon further inspection, Carlson and his 2-year-old daughter discovered it was an octopus. He took a video of the creature swimming near him in shallow water before it suddenly launched its arms at him. Then, after setting up his family in a sun protection tent, he put on some goggles and went into the water alone to explore crab shells. Once he was swimming, the octopus found him again and used its arms to lunge at Carlson, who felt a forceful sting across his neck and back. My goggles became fogged, the water was suddenly murky and I remember being shocked and confused, Carlson told the news agency. He later uploaded the footage on social media and called it the angriest octopus in Geograph Bay. After going after a seagull, it then decided my daughter and I deserved a lashing, he wrote on Instagram. I later discovered its home amongst a crab graveyard, where it came after me again. The octopus left red marks on Carlson's neck and upper body, but he told Reuters that he felt no animosity toward the animal. Dr. Jennifer Mather, a professor at the University of Lethbridge who has studied octopuses for decades, saw the viral video and told CBS News on Friday that since the man approached a crab graveyard, it's clear he got too close to the octopus shelter. She said the crab shells were essentially its garbage heap. Fish often scavenge the shell remains, and the octopus sometimes aims what we called a slap at them, she said. Octopuses don't typically behave this way, according to Mather, considering they're shy animals. It's very unusual for an octopus to be aggressive like this, but they have clear personalities, and you could describe this one as irritable or reactive, Mather said. The man was in no danger, the octopus was just warning him off.
so there you go. Got to find out a little bit about octopi. So there you go. I found that interesting. Kind of strange videos this week, but you know, I have to make my own. All right, then we got. Oh, I don't want to do that one yet. Okay, we got. Southwest Airlines passengers dance and cheer as a couple accused of refusing to wear their masks get thrown off the flight. You know, one of my closest friends is truly a believer that this whole COVID thing is a farce. And he believes that we're just lemmings and that we are worried about the whole thing. And I rather than argue with him, I just don't even talk about it. But he's a conspiracy theorist guy, so he believes that all this stuff is just trying to manipulate us. And I believe in science. I believe that science tells us like it is, and whether we like it or not. Why am I frozen? Is this still recording? Am I still recording? All right, now I don't know. Am I moving? Come on, am I moving? I don't think I am. Okay. What is going on with the computer? For some reason, I'm having issues, I think. Well, does it... Okay, the part of it's moving. I don't know what's going on. Let me see. Alright, let me see if that's working. Okay, so that's working. So the only thing that isn't working is my... Oh, there we go. Now I'm moving. Okay. Alright. TikTok video shows the entire plane clapping and cheering as a couple is escorted off a Southwest Airlines flight. In the video, shared by Brian Edler, says a woman is seen arguing with a crew member. The footage, which is filmed discreetly from 3 rows back, shows the mid-argument. The dispute revolves around a passenger who refuses to comply with COVID-19 safety protocols by not wearing a mask. It should be noted that the woman is wearing a mask at the start of the clip. The reaction of those on the plane, however, suggests that was not the case earlier. The woman, whose identity is unknown, is insistent that she not break the rules. And I did comply, said the woman to the flight attendant. You're saying I did comply and put my mask on when you asked me to. Shortly after, the woman accuses the flight attendant of not telling the truth. You're a liar, and you should have to live with that, she's heard saying. Those on the flight began to heckle the woman by saying their farewells. Bye, shouts one person. Get off the plane, yells another. That's what happens when you don't say you're sorry, someone else was heard saying. The woman stands up, shows her middle finger to those on the plane, and walks off the plane. Insider contacted Southwest for further context of the incident. The airline said that it does not have any further details. So, that's crazy stuff. It's just, you know, you got to comply. The bottom line is you're not in control, and those that don't comply, they're going to get in trouble. And I've got a couple stories about that continue. We continue to hear things, and it's unbelievable. Actually, one of the things, I have another Southwestern, see if I can find it. Here it is. This is another one on Southwestern. Former Southwestern Airlines pilot is facing federal charges after allegedly committing a lewd sex act.
To achieve greatness once,
All right, you got to be quiet now. So Southwestern's getting a bit of a boost on this. So, all right, what's going on here? Wait a minute here. What I'm trying to do... Oh, I hit the wrong button. Okay. Yeah, so Southwestern has two stories from me tonight. The one is a positive story, and the other is a negative story. So, Southwestern... okay, here we go. Let's hear what she says. Wait a minute, hold on. Now, where's the volume? There it is. Okay. Okay.
Well, Southwest Airlines, speaking of airlines, cancels hundreds of flights at the peak of the summer travel season. Tracy Kroska from our sister network, Fox Business, explains why it's a matter of safety.
That's a different story.
Good morning, Heather. Yes, this is for the second consecutive summer that Southwest...
Oh, so it's not. They're not canceling it because of the lewd sex act. Okay, the story is a Southwestern pilot is facing charges of indecent exposure during a flight last August from Philadelphia to Orlando. It's not that long of a flight. I think it might be a 2-hour flight. Maybe let's say 3-hour flight. It's probably 3, but if the guy can't keep it in his pants for 3 hours, he's got a problem. It says here, according to the one-page filing in Federal District in Maryland, the pilot in command exposed his genitals in acts that continued and ended August 10th while Flight 6607 was in the air. The document was dated Friday, did not indicate the circumstances and who might have witnessed the incident. The brief filing doesn't indicate if he has a lawyer. Southwest spokesperson told the Associated Press that no passengers witnessed the incident. The pilots were the only people that were aware of the incident. The airline spokeswoman said that Hack, his name is Hack, H-A-A-K, left the airline before the company was aware of the incident. So I'm guessing he must have jerked off, I'm thinking, while he was flying. I mean, I don't know. Doesn't really tell us a whole lot, but he didn't want to keep it in his pants, that's for sure. So, yeah, people are really strange about that. Putting your pants on or not taking it off while you're in flight. I don't know what he did, but it's kind of scary. But, yeah, I saw that, and I thought it was funny. A Georgia church was kicked out of the SBC for allowing gay members. They want to make sure that everybody's welcome. Apparently the SBC doesn't want to believe that because they kicked them out. And that, worse things have happened to a company or to a business. If the church company kicks you out, maybe they should reevaluate their own selves. Because if they're, God's house is supposed to be a house for all. And if you're worried about gay people being in your house, you got a serious issue. 2 weeks after being kicked out of the Southern Baptist Convention, Town View Baptist Church celebrated its 32nd anniversary by accepting members the SBC said they would have turned away. One by one, Pastor Jim Conrad introduced 7 new members, which in the Baptist tradition have approved by the majority of the congregation. He didn't mention that Brockton Bates and his partner Skylar were gay, nor that another member was transgender. He didn't have to. His church knew they were and had spent the last 2 years coming to terms with the fact that the inclusion for Town View had to look... I'm so over the discrimination of this stuff. I mean, gay people have been around us a long time, probably longer than most of us realize. And they're not hurting anybody unless they want to be hurt. And there's... I'm so tired of the way they're treated. They're just people. And, my God loves all his people. Loves all of his children. And it's time that religion wakes up and determines that they've been jerks about this whole thing. I applaud this church. I think that they, in a time when everybody is just fighting to hold on to something, how about you hold on to your congregation members, I just think that people need to just not be concerned with who you're sleeping with. Be concerned with if they're good people, if they are good people or not. And that's not for you to judge anyway. That's for your higher power to judge. So, I just think it's more power to them. I'm really happy that this church decided to allow gay members, allow transgender members, allow whatever you're into members. As long as you're not hurting another person, I think that's what it's all about. Everybody should take and get along with everybody else, and you shouldn't be judgmental of them. And, if people judged me, who knows where I'd be today. Well, of course they have judged me. But I think it's amazing that we still have to think about things like this. This is crazy stuff. So, more power to them. I'm happy that this is somebody that was smart enough to realize that they're just people, and you don't throw it away. You don't throw away the people because you don't believe what they do. But I don't believe that people should drive gas cars, but I still welcome them into my house. Anyway, all right, enough of that. My congregation believes that people should use electric cars. A brave dog saved his owner's life by stopping traffic and flagging down a truck when she collapsed during a walk. This is a cool dog. I would like to have a dog like this. A dog that actually cares. You hear that? I'm talking to you. A dog that actually does his job and takes care of his owner. I'm talking to you. And, I just think that is really cool that the dog was able to do that. It says here that in the recording, Clover first checks on Moore and watches a car drive past. Clover is the dog. She manages to free her leash from her owner's hand and blocks the truck's path, forcing it to come to a stop and for the driver to get out. The driver, 20-year-old Dryden Oatway, was the driver. It really was impressive. The dog actually blocked my way. She kind of backed me into the road to block my truck. Otway was watched closely by Clover the entire time that the three were together. He left briefly to try and get more help from a neighbor before returning to tend more. Moore is Haley Moore is the person who had collapsed. And it says here, Haley Moore collapsed while walking her 1.5-year-old dog. CCTV footage from the neighbor's security camera showed how quick thinking Mamara Mix reacted to the emergency. Moore is now okay, while Clover was given a steak dinner as a thank you. I give you a steak. I have given you steak, and you haven't saved me from anything. I'm just talking to my dog, in case you're wondering. So, but anyway, is this a video? Oh, that is a video. Yeah, it is a video. That's interesting. Okay, we get to see the dog. I guess the woman just collapsed there. And he broke away, and he stopped the dog. I like that. That's very cool. Oh, man. That's awesome. That dog was brave. I couldn't even imagine being smart enough to do that. Well, why didn't the person see the woman laying there, too? Well, I guess he didn't see her until he stopped. I don't know. That's very cool, though. I like that. That's a good story. That's a story I like to hear. I like to hear stories that are positive and all that. So, then we got... Oh, this is scary. Florida County fears imminent reservoir collapse. Oh, you heard what I was talking about, you? Yeah. My dog is very, very sick. He has cancer, and he is really, really starting to act bad. And a funny story, though. The other night, I heard him coughing up something, and I thought, oh, he's vomiting because he's on his last legs. And I thought, there's nothing I can do for him. I mean, what can you do for a dog that's dying? Well, comes to find out that he wasn't coughing up because he was throwing up of cancer-related things. I had been to the store and I bought him all kinds of new treats. I put him in one of those pretzel containers, those plastic pretzel containers with the screw-in top. And he saw me put him in there, and I gave him some, and I went to bed. And when I got up, the container was missing. Now, he did that when I had meds for him a year ago, just a little pill bottle, and he broke it open and ate all the pills in one time, and fortunately he didn't die from it. But this time he stole this big pretzel container, and he screwed off the lid with his teeth. I'm not lying about this. This is true. He screwed off the container, and he ate half of the container worth of stuff, probably because he couldn't get any more out of the container. Yeah, you're not as smart as you think you are. He ate so much of it that he got sick on it. And now he's not eating as much because he's being real picky about what he's eating. But he ate himself into a frenzy. But that dog, he's a trip. I don't know what I'm going to do without him. I just wish he would get better, and I know he's not gonna. But you got to treat him as good as you can, because you only have him for so long. And he was abused when I got him, and I took him, told him what it was to take care of somebody, and I feel like I'm not really taking care of him because he's sick, and I don't know what to do about it. I hate to have an operation on him or have him have chemo because he's an 11-year-old dog. He's a big dog, and he's not going to live to be 15, 16. He might live to be 12 because he's already got arthritis and back problems and all kinds of things. Anyway, all right, back to the story. Some residents in Manatee County, Florida, were evacuated from their homes over Easter weekend. Officials cited fears that the wastewater pond would collapse at any time. So county officials said the pond, located in a former Piney Point phosphate processing plant, try to say that a couple times quick, Piney Point phosphate processing plant, has significant leak. The Manatee County Public Safety Department told people that near the plant to evacuate due to imminent uncontrolled release of wastewater. Man, that's going to be horrible. Mandatory evacuations were extended on, and this is the Easter weekend too that they had to leave their houses. Mandatory evacuations were extended an additional half-mile west and 1 mile southwest of the site Saturday. And Manatee County Public Safety Department said that 316 households are within the full evacuation area. So hopefully they get on that and get it all taken care of. I'm sure that people do not want to leave their homes, and that just sounds like a horrible thing to have to deal with. So, trying to deal with it. But I wouldn't want to live there if that were going to mess up around my house. All right, then we got this from a friend. Viral star April the Giraffe has died. I was going to put that in the first segment, which I usually do deaths first, but I don't know if she qualifies as a celebrity. She probably does. It was nearly 4 years ago, April 15th, 2017, that April the Giraffe finally gave birth at an animal adventure park. April the Giraffe is 20. She became a viral sensation as fans all around the world watched her give birth. It was the heaviest of hearts that the Animal Adventure Park announces the tremendous loss of our beloved April the Giraffe. We grieve with many of her fans and near and far as we say goodbye to the giraffe, that we may be credited with making a foothold for giraffe and giraffe conversation awareness in the 21st century. So, April, we'll miss you. Wow, April died in April. Oh, that's weird. Huh. Okay. That's weird. I actually made that correlation. Then, this is kind of weird. Goodwill, Good Karma, Goodwill employee finds $42,000 in a donated sweater. Who keeps $42,000 of cash laying around the house? I can't imagine. I'm lucky if I have $100 with me at any given time. But this person had $42,000, and I'm thinking that it was in the closet and they were hiding their money there because they don't believe in banks. Because my brother did that too. My brother had a safe and had like $60,000 in it when he died. But he was a business owner. He needed to make sure he had cash at certain times. But it's weird when you think about someone carrying $42,000 and hiding it in a sweater. They should have at least kept it in a bank. So, I don't know. It's weird. But, yeah, it's oh, that's a video. Yeah, but that's a YouTube video. It says if you believe, I do believe that if you do something good will come back to you. Well, I'll tell you what. They did something really good because they donated $42,000 that they were planning on not donating, I'm sure. So it doesn't say that. I wonder if it does say. I wonder if I should listen to this. I'll get in trouble from YouTube. I really hate that. Because they're going to... heck with it.
Just from working here for about a month and a half,
right.
I've noticed that there are a lot of weird things that have been donated. Hello, welcome to Goodwill.
And it's Andrea Les.
We have a big Goodwill out here. We have a couple Goodwills out here. We also have Salvation Armies that have pretty big stores. And Community Aid, I think, is the other one that we got.
Job to sort through them.
You want to make sure we're selling good product, there's no stains, there's no holes, there's no tears, there's no rips.
One day, she came across 2 sweaters wrapped together, holding what she thought was books.
That's just unbelievable. I wonder if the person realized that. I mean, if someone died and you're going through their stuff, they may not have realized that, but the sweaters would have been pretty heavy with $42,000 in them. I'm curious as to what the end of this story is going to be.
It wasn't.
There was just stacks of just envelopes, and it just contained $100 bills. My first thought was, it's fake.
But it was real. A stack of $100 bills totaling to $42,000. The largest cash find in Goodwill's history in Oklahoma.
That's a lot of money. And you think, what would I do if I was that Goodwill employee? Would I fess up to it? Would I keep part of it? Maybe there's actually $50,000 and she kept $8,000 of it. You never know. That's a curiosity thing there.
Along with it, documents with information that helped them track down the owner. Something that is also highly unusual.
Normally we have no way to know who the money belongs to.
Okay, so the question now becomes, did the owners do it on purpose? That's the big mystery.
Even if we wanted to try to give it back to someone, there was no way to find who that person was.
Of course, we're all only human, and the thought of keeping or hiding a find like that might cross our minds. But Andrea rose above that urge.
That's a better person than me. I don't know. I guess I probably would be honest with it.
A daughter, I love her very much, and you can't put a price on my daughter. And I know what could be risked, stealing that money. And I do.
What are you stealing if they donated it? And if the thing is, over here you can buy your $3.33 one piece children's thing. Why is it in front of the ties? Why are there ties in front of the children's stuff? That's a good question. That's an even bigger question than the $42,000 to me.
I do believe in karma. I believe that, if you do something good will come back to you.
And little did she know, she was minutes away from karma coming back to her. The owner of the money wanted to remain anonymous, but they did want to thank her for the integrity she showed that day.
They asked us if we would give you $1,000.
Wow.
They came out of that money and give that back to you.
So they do it by accident? That's the question.
Thank you for what you're doing and your integrity. You really are living our values. Thank you.
Did they give the rest back?
Just like the moment when she found the money, Andrea's first thought here was her 6-year-old little girl.
And her birthday's coming up in July.
Yeah, but think of all the things you could have done for her with $42,000. You could have got yourself a Tesla, drove her around, and I don't think you did the right thing.
So now I can actually give her an amazing
that's very cool.
birthday party.
Great.
Yeah, you could have a really good birthday party for that kind of money. By the way, in case you're wondering if I'm serious, read the shirt. Wait a minute, I'll turn it the right way so you can read the shirt. Oh, come on. I'm not turning. Why am I not turning? There, read the shirt. Somehow. Read the shirt. There we go. 0 days. Just so don't give me a hassle.
Well, your karma, we all agree with your comments on karma. It comes right back.
That's right. So if you have any questions about karma, talk to this lady here. She'll be happy to tell you. $42,000 sitting there. You know you can't have it. Hey, good for her. I'm glad she was honest. It takes honest people to keep the rest of us straight. Speaking of honest, next story. I'm going to play the next story. Now it's another video, but I got to play this next story because it goes with karma. All right, here you go. This is a strange, bizarre story. And I found it very interesting.
A global company has stepped in to solve quite a conundrum for a Georgia man. Andreas Fladen's former employer dumped at least 90,000 pennies on his driveway last month as a form of final payment for his work at an auto shop, he said. When Bellevue, Washington-based Coinstar heard about his predicament, they decided that change was needed. They picked up Fladen's coins on Thursday and rounded up the amount to give him a $1,000 check. They also made donations to 2 charities of Fladen's choosing, 2 animal shelters. Coinstar has been in the coin business for 30 years and we process approximately 41 billion coins annually, so picking up 91,000 pennies was all in a day's work, Coinstar CEO Jim Doherty said in a statement. Fladen said his former employer, A.O.K. Walker Auto Works in Peachtree City, owed him $915 after he left his job there in November. He finally got his pay earlier this month in the form of thousands of oil or grease-covered pennies dumped at the end of his driveway in Fayetteville, Georgia. Atop the pile, an envelope with Fladen's final pay stub and a goodbye note that featured an obscenity. Fladen had been spending an hour or 2 every night trying to clean the pennies, which he stored in a wheelbarrow in his garage. The owner of the shop, Miles Walker, told WGCL-TV that he didn't know if he did or didn't drop the pennies off at Fladen's house. "I don't really remember," Walker said. "It doesn't matter. He got paid. That's all that matters."
The guy is a loser. Why am I frozen again? What is going on? Why am I not... I don't understand this. Oh. Maybe I should be invisible. Let's try this. I am still frozen, though. Wonder what's going on here. It's got something to do with this. Oh, when I touched that, I became unfrozen for a second. Something's going on with this overlay. And I'm really not sure what is going on. Alright, anyway. Alright, seems to be kind of working. Alright, next. Let's see. Got this. So that shows you what karma... I mean, that guy was kind of cool that Coinstar took all those coins and actually gave him more money than the coins were worth. So, alright. We got... How do I do this? It won't let me do it. Why won't it let me do it? Maybe it does it this way. There we go. Maine. Maine's very, very, why is this not, hold on here. It's not opening right. Why isn't it opening? Okay. So you're not going to let me read this. Okay. The story is, there's legislation. Is that what it is? Legislation. There it is. Now I gotta see if I can get in there. There it is. Why won't you let me do this? Let me look at it first. Now you won't let me look at it at all. Wait, maybe... Must be one of those that you gotta subscribe to it. Yep, that's what it is. Bastards. Fine, I won't do your story. Your story wasn't that good. It was okay. Wasn't that good, though. So, there. Alright. Back to the planes. Z-plane! Z-plane! Alright. A pregnant woman was kicked off a flight for the 2-year-old not wearing the mask. I thought there was something about 2-year-olds that you could actually get around without making them wear masks. Maybe not on flights. I don't know. I thought there was something about that. Anyway, here we go. Let's bring the clip here.
I'm sorry. What you want? Okay, no problem. Just tell me what we did. Non-compliance with the mask. Wearing the mask.
Viral video shows a Spirit Airlines flight attendant disagreeing with a family over mask compliance. In the clip, the man takes off his mask and off his 2-year-old daughter.
Guys, I wear a mask all the time, everybody. I'm sorry.
A family was escorted off the flight after a flight attendant said the child had to wear a mask. Spirit Airlines website states their mask policy is in line with CDC. Face coverings may be removed only when eating, drinking, or taking medication. When done eating, drinking, or taking medications, face coverings must be repositioned immediately. I'll tell you what. Being in an airplane, you're really in tight quarters, and I definitely would want someone to wear their mask. And Spirit Airlines, I think they suck overall, but I would agree on the flight thing. If you're not going to wear your mask, you're not going to be able to do the flight. It's simple. All the passengers on flight from Orlando to Atlantic City were eventually forced to get off the plane before later being allowed back on board. In the footage posted on social media, a flight attendant told the Jewish family, including the toddler sitting on their pregnant mom's lap eating yogurt, and dad, who pulled his mask down to speak with the airline worker, that they needed to exit the plane for non-compliance. The dad pulled the mask up over his mouth and nose, but the Spirit staffer nodded to the tot and said, "She's not wearing a mask." "The baby?" the mom replied. A woman seated next to them points out, "A lot of kids aren't wearing masks." "You've been sitting next to me. Was I wearing a mask the whole time? Was I wearing the mask the whole time, everybody?" said the dad, who pulled his mask down several times during the encounter. "I'll make sure he wears it. Everything is going to be fine," said the man who appeared to be filming the interaction. That's only a child and a 2-year-old. I just don't know about this one. This one's a tough one as to whether or not I would let them stay. Because once you're in the air, you can do whatever you want. So I kind of think that would be a bad thing. It's not my choice. You have to take your stuff and get off, the airline worker insisted. Non-compliance with your mask policy. "We're done talking. The pilot wants you off, so you have to get off." The mom continued to plead. "She's a baby. She just turned 2 a month ago. She's been trying to wear it." The flight attendants threatened to call the police. Another clip showed the passengers packing up as the dad tells someone the captain was okay, the entire plane was okay, but it was just one African-American woman. Oof. He also notes that his wife is pregnant, that his daughter just turned 2, and his son, who was sitting nearby, has special needs. A third video shows the cops in the walkway leading out of the plane, with one woman officer saying they're the ones who were the problem, as the family appears to walk by. Orlando police said they were called just before noon Monday about a general disturbance aboard a Spirit flight out of the airport. Upon arrival, officers saw the flight was in the middle of deboarding. Our officer stood by while Spirit Airlines resolved the issue. A Spirit representative insisted that the it was the parents who broke the airline's face covering policy, and their violation was caught on camera. The family was given a warning and allowed to reboard the flight and proceed to their destination. I think that's a tough one, because how do you keep the kids from taking the mask off? And why are you flying with these kids anyway? I mean, at this time, I would just delay any vacationing or any of this till this is all over, or till they're older, because all you're going to do is get yourself in trouble. So it says the only thing that happened with the flight attendant was that after 2 hours of a delay, there was a crew change required, and somebody captured police who had come to the gate for the general situation, locking down the concourse at the same time that the flight attendant was going on their next assignment. I don't know. I am so, I pretty much locked myself up until this thing's over, because I don't want to deal with this. I really don't. There's This is so much unnecessary stuff that's going around, and if everybody would just comply with the situation, but you can't when you have a baby. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I don't know. Oh. Anyway. All right. Let's see. It's tax time. It says here, there's 5 flags that can trigger a tax audit from the IRS. And I decided, since I didn't do my taxes yet, I would play this on the air because I haven't seen it yet. I don't know what it says, and it may teach me stuff I need to know about my taxes. And I don't want to be audited. And I've been audited before. I was audited about, I would say, 15 years ago. And the thing with the audit was that for me, I was talking about where I used to work, how they would take our money and stuff. I was audited by the IRS about the amount of money that I was paid in a spiff. And it was a Logitech spiff, I remember that. And, you know, I thought I claimed everything, because you don't have to really claim it unless you hit $500, because the IRS doesn't get a 1099 unless you hit $500. So what happened was that I didn't claim Logitech spiff because I didn't get the form. So a couple years later, I think it was 2 years later, I got hit with an audit. And not only did they audit me, but they fined me. So they fined me for $800. The $800 plus I had to pay like another $400 for the fine, and that really sucked because for that little thing I ended up paying a lot of money. Anyway, 5 triggers, 5 red flags that we're talking about here that you'll get if you do things wrong. I think I just already did this, damn it. Yeah, I did do it. Okay. The 5 things that the IRS is looking for. So, underreporting income. Well, obviously you're not going to come after you if you overreport. Underreporting income will probably be the first flag. These are cases where you're grossly underreporting. This is underreporting your income by $5,000 intentionally. Mine was only $800. They still got me because they got that form from Logitech. Overstating your tax deductions. I can tell you that I probably have done that. Whether you're claiming a business tax deduction like a meal and entertainment expenses, or personal ones like charitable donations, you may hear from the IRS if the claimed amount seems off based on your income. So if you say that you made $20,000 and you're saying that $2,000 was given to the church or whatever, you're probably not going to get away with that. High income earner. Chances of being audited increase with your income bracket. I believe that. In 2018, the overall audit was 0.6% chances of being audited, as much as higher for higher income earners. Taxpayers paying $500,000 to $1 million were twice as likely to be audited at 1.1%. Well, I didn't have any problems with that because the company I worked for got the money, so I didn't get $500,000 to $1 million. Probably would have if they would have let me have my spiffs. That rate went up 2.2% for taxpayers making $1 million to $5 million. Those earning $5 million to $10 million saw an audit rate of 4.2. Those making above that had the highest rate of 6.7%. Claiming a dependent. Well, I don't have any problems because I don't have any dependents. So, but only one parent's allowed to claim a child on their taxes, and even if parents are filing separately. I could never claim anyone. Foreign accounts and income. Failing to report foreign financial asset like a bank account brokerage or mutual fund might have the IRS knocking. Well, I don't have a problem with that. If you hold foreign assets over $50,000 for a single filer or $100,000 for joint filers, I don't have a problem with that. Well, I guess that's all of them. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I've educated you. So hopefully you won't get caught. All right. This Amazon company, Amazon-backed startup is trying to save the planet, one motor at a time. I'm always interested in people that are trying to save the planet. I want to do what I can. That's why I have electric cars. Electric car. I only have one right now, but hopefully by the end of the year I'll have two. I want to get away from gas cars altogether, the best I can. Turntide Technologies on a mission to save the planet, one motor at a time. The startup, armed with influx cash from Amazon, Bill Gates, and actor Robert Downey Jr., wants to replace antiquated and energy-wasting motors used to power fridges, HVAC systems, and cars with smart motors that access a fraction of the energy. This is kind of cool. I mean, I got rid of my refrigerator a couple years ago because it was old and you could tell it was on its last motor. And the one I got is a brand new one, and it has a lot. It's a lot more efficient. And I did the same with my washer and dryer, and just to bring the efficiency of these things around. So what happens is Turntide machine learning powered motors are already being used to reduce our carbon footprints and energy bills of buildings owned by BMW, commercial real estate firm JLL, and Five Guys, as well as in cooling systems on dairy farms. I'm waiting for the new Tesla HVAC system to put in my house because it's so cool how it works. It's in my Tesla, and they're going to make a system for a home that works off the Tesla technology, and that should be very efficient. Keep in mind that the Tesla has no fluids to change. There's no cooling fluid. There's no oils. There's nothing. So if they turn that into a home system where you're not having those things, the only thing you have to change is the air filter. Now, one thing about the Model X is that the Model X and the Model S, their filtration system is so good. You can drive into in the middle of a freaking forest fire, and it'll still provide you with clean air through their filtration system. That's how clean that air is. So, it's something to be aware of. If we can do that in a car, why can't we do that in our house? How nice would it be if you have allergies and you have a filtration system in your heating and air conditioning unit that takes all that pollen and stuff out of the air? That would be awesome. I don't think anybody would complain about that. I know that there's times that I wake up and my eyes are watering all day because of the system. I think it'd be an awesome thing. So I just think that it's something that we need to look at, and we need to, if we need to save the planet. I mean, I'm not going to be here. The planet will be here long after I am, but it's best to fix the planet while we can. There's going to be a time where we won't be able to fix the planet. Anyway, Turntide is the name of the company. So Turntide's machine learning programmed powered motors are already being used to reduce carbon footprints and energy bills. Like I said, from BMW, commercial real estate JLL, Five Guys, as well as cooling systems on dairy farms. The ambitious, perhaps unrealistic goal is to upgrade all motors in the world. It's a big task. But, hey, it can be done. But the problem is that everybody's got to be on board. It can't be just a couple of us. But if it's only a couple of us, that'll save the planet at least a little bit. So it's not a bad thing that it's a couple of us, but it's a good thing if it's more of us. Unlike other Gates-backed startups. They are attempting to shrink the supply of carbon-emitting fossil fuels. Turntide is squarely focused on the demand side of the equation. We see great potential in their technology and believe that once widely adopted, it will play a critical role in reducing electricity consumption globally. That's what it's all about. Amazon's using the Turntide motor to shrink its carbon footprint. Electric motors, which power everything from cars to heating systems and office buildings, are crucial to that equation. They account for more than 40% of the global electricity consumption. So the thing is, Amazon's behind it. That's good. You can actually see that they're using the money for things other than greed. So hopefully they will be able to do that. I think that as we see more of these things, I mean, like one of the cars that I want to buy gets 1,000 miles to the charge. And why does it do that? Because it's a unique system in that it has solar panels and it has lightweight but yet strong build. Things like that all take into account to save the planet. So it's really a good thing that they're out there trying to do that. So anyway, okay, let's put this in the books. I will tweet this because there's no thing there to automatically do it for me. So we will do it this way. Where is it? Oh yeah, there it is. Oh, getting old. All right, next. All right. I guess it's time for another video, huh? I guess we did this one already, so I can get rid of this one. Oh, wait a minute. Guess I could do it this way. All right. Okay, so share this. Twitter. Boom. Okay. And share this Facebook. There we go. So that one's the coin one. We did that one already. We didn't do... Oh, that's what it was. I need to go back and look at something here. I didn't do this. Can I do it from here? Oh, I can do it from here. Oh, no, I can't. Rats. I wanted to do it from there. Do it from here, though. We'll do this.
Hey, guys, it's me.
I did this already. I just forgot to share it as a shareable link. There we go. And then we do this. I sometimes forget to do that. I hate when I do that. So that we got. And then we got... Let's see, Let's see. Oh, that's the other one. I forgot what the other one was. It was the freaking octopus one.
A video showing an octopus.
Yeah, that one. So I got to share that too, so that people get to see it. Where do I? Okay, delete that. Then we need this on Facebook. Okay. All right. I shared Nietzsche's thing, right? I don't remember if I did or not. Now I need to look back and make sure I shared it. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's Nietzsche's. There's the coins. There's that. Okay, so we got two more, right? to... Yeah, okay. All right, that's good. Now we got it together. Oh, boy. Oh, my. All right. Now I can go back to the show. Dolphins. All my dolphin lovers. Dozens of dolphins found dead on the shores of Ghana. Well, you know, it tells you something. Somehow they die. Why did they die? I don't know. I don't think it says. Let me, hold on here. Just want to save this. Alright, here we go. It says,
At least 80 dolphins washed up dead on beaches west of Ghana's Accra on Sunday and Monday, prompting investigations by the authorities. Video shot by NGO Wild Seas showed dead dolphins on Axim Beach. Dozens were also seen being loaded onto trucks. According to Wild Seas, locals intend to use the carcasses as shark bait. The head of the Fisheries Commission said that between 80 and 100 dead dolphins had been found. The cause of death is not yet clear. In another incident, a large number of fish were found dead on Ozu Castle Beach in Accra. The Ministry of Fisheries said in a statement. The Food and Drugs Authority said it was checking markets to make sure the fish that washed up dead were not sold.
and the thing is, they're not fish. Dolphins are mammals. Dummies. But that's scary that those that many that many dolphins have died. It's just a lot of dolphins. It's very sad. And I know that everybody, I don't know anyone that hates dolphins. So that's one thing to think of. What was that? What's that Emperor's name? Oh yeah, that's right. Well, we're going to do that later. We might do that. Might do that now. Let me see. Crimes. We'll do crimes. Oh yeah, good. It's time to do that one. All right. All right. All right, we'll do this one. Let's see. This is bizarre and strange and off the wall, and I can't imagine why. Again, it's one of the people that think that they're being tricked into wearing masks. It just is just happening too often. And if you haven't paid attention to the news, there's a lot of people dying because people aren't wearing masks and people are stuck in close quarters with people not wearing masks. So here is the story.
A man who was arrested after refusing a temperature screening at Disney Springs told authorities he couldn't be told to leave because he spent $15,000 on his vacation. Kelly Sills, a tourist from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, bypassed the Orlando attraction's medical screening in February and refused to get his temperature checked when asked by Disney employees, according to a police report from the Orange County Sheriff's Department. Body camera footage recently released showed Sills refusing to leave when asked by law enforcement. "I spent $15,000 to come here," Sills said after a deputy told him he was officially considered to be trespassing. Deputies and a security manager at Disney Springs had approached Sills outside the Boathouse restaurant, according to the police report. Sills allegedly argued with the security manager, yelling at him, before the manager told him he was no longer welcome at the park today, the report said. A woman could be heard asking officers not to arrest Sills in the body camera footage. "He's not listening," a man responded. "All he had to do was get temperature checked. That's it." At another point in the video, Sills asked whether authorities could take his temperature before forcing him to leave. Someone responded that they would do so at jail, according to NBC affiliate WFLA. Sills also claimed to be a Disney stockholder at another point. Sills pleaded not guilty to a misdemeanor trespassing charge, according to court records. His attorney, Michael Zamajewski, declined to comment on the case to NBC News Sunday.
There you go. Another crazy person that is refusing. It's just nuts.
A man who was arrested.
Whoop, that's just nuts. The guy just refused because it's his right not to wear a mask, you know. Spent $15,000 for his vacation. And he ended up not being able to enjoy that. On the other side, Disney to relax mask policy at Walt Disney Theme Park. I just thought that was funny and ironic that came out at the same time. And I don't know if one had to do anything to do with the other, but it was just funny to me that they decided. It says Disney has modified its mask policy for Walt Disney World to slightly loosen the requirements for masks to be worn at the theme parks. Specifically, the latest update, beginning April 8th, allows guests to remove their masks when they're taking photos outdoors while socially distanced. Masks must be worn at other times. According to the original guidelines for the park's reopening in July 2020, exceptions include when dining or swimming and while actively eating or drinking, but must be stationary and maintain appropriate physical distancing. The new policy will also apply when taking photos with Disney's PhotoPass photographers who are stationed around the parks. So there you go. If Mr. Sills would have realized, he could have done part of it without his mask. Disney's strict mask policy, and in particular not allowing guests to remove guests during photos. Well, that's funny. They actually spelled it wrong. Disney's strict mask policy, and in particular not allowing guests to remove guests during photos, continues to be a pain point to the parks. Also, having the right words in the right places would be a pain point too, because you're not quite right. That's supposed to be remove masks. Cast members are frequently having to enforce the mask use as guests take photos, and often receive some pushback from the guests. The new policy should go a long way to helping reduce those confrontations. I would not go to a park at this point because I don't want to wear a mask during the whole day. So I just stay home where I don't have to. I'm under control. I don't have to wear it, so I don't go. I mean, when I go to the grocery store, I wear it. Actually, I went to with a friend of mine to look at a car yesterday, and the owner didn't wear his mask, and his employees did not wear masks. I thought that was interesting. That I realized that it's your business, and you can do whatever you're supposed to. Whatever you can't. You're not really supposed to do that, but I don't know. I would think that it just looked bad for him because he isn't following any kind of protocol. And they were all indoor, and I don't know, I wore mine. I wore my mask anyway. Here's a strange one. Her ballot didn't count. She faces 5 years in prison for casting it. That is a bit much, and that is a bit... When you hear this story, you're going to say, what? What? Well, it didn't... It's one of those things that is kind of beyond what it should be. I mean, it was a reason for this law to be what it was, but she didn't break the law knowing that this was going to... She didn't know she was breaking the law. That's what I want to say. On Election Day 2016, Crystal Mason went to vote after her mother insisted that she make her voice heard in the presidential election. When her name didn't appear on official voting rolls as at the polling place, she filled out a provisional ballot, not thinking anything of it. Mason's ballot was never officially counted or tallied because she was ineligible to vote. She was on a supervised release after serving 5 years for tax fraud. Nevertheless, the ballot was wrangled into her lengthy appeals after the state district court sentenced her to 5 years in prison for illegal voting, as she was a felon and on probation when she cast her ballot. See, this is a stupid, outdated thing. I just can't even imagine. She didn't know she was ineligible to vote, and if she's ineligible to vote, just throw it away. It didn't get counted. She didn't do it with malicious intent. It's one thing if you do it with malicious intent, like if she said, "I'm going to sneak my vote in." That isn't what happened. You know, that's the thing that I think is just crazy. That it's kind of like, oh, you voted? You're not allowed to vote. Okay, if she knew she wasn't allowed to vote and she voted, that'd be one thing. But she didn't vote with malicious intent. So I think they ought to just forget about it, move on. Slap her on the wrist. Don't send her back to jail for something like that. That's a waste of our resources. So, anyway. This is a sad story. Last week, he took bullets for her. Dad grieves the 9-year-old son found dead in the mother's arms after a California mass shooting. There was a mass shooting last week that they still don't know why it happened. There was a guy that came into, I think it was a rental office, or we'll see here in a second. I forget where it was. And I think he knew the people too, but there was no harm or anything. There was no words that came between them. Ralphie Ferris Hart. What's this? Raphael or Ralphie Ferris Hart carries many images of my son, Matthew. The smiling kid who ran to him each morning for a hug. The boy who once blurted that he was going to play soccer because he was too good for basketball. The 9-year-old called my favorite by teachers at Hoover Elementary School. But now there's another image. A child with curly brown hair in the arms of his mother killed Wednesday during a shooting rampage in Orange, California. A police search for the motive, and the family members wrestle with grief. Ferris says he'll never understand why the gunman aimed at a child. I can't understand why he would aim at anybody, but that's just me. Ferris was among 4 people killed inside the Unified Homes, a mobile home broker. The other dead were identified by Orange Police County as Louis Tovar, 50, Leticia Solis Guzman, 58, and Genevieve Ragoza, 28, who owned the business. Matthew's mother, Unified Homes employee Blanca Tomeo, was wounded but survived. Ferris said she was cradling their little boy when they were shot. I never could understand why somebody would shoot people. And especially since there's no motive. No one can understand why this guy did that. But the suspect locked entries. He knew the victims in the deadly shooting in California. The victims identified the mass shooting. Suspect is charged with 4 counts of murder. I thought he was killed too. I guess he wasn't killed. My angel he saved my mom from dying, Ferris added. He took bullets for her. The suspect, 44-year-old trucking company owner, was wounded by police during a gun battle at a business and now faces 4 counts of murder, as well as 3 of attempted murder. And it says authorities said the assailant locked gates outside the office building to prevent victims from escaping. Police have not disclosed the motive for the rampage, but they believe the gunman had some connection to the business and the assault was not random. So I just am sad about that whole thing because that poor kid, it's sad. But they had or $100,000 contributed to their GoFundMe. I mean, that kid, his life is not worth $100,000. It's worth unlimited. And that poor kid is never. I mean, it's sad. It's sad that happened. And I wonder, let's do a search and see if we can find any more information on this, because let's see if we get anything for this. We may or may not. Let's do it from here. Do we have a reason for it yet? Fundraiser, okay. Doesn't look like they released any more information, and that's a long time. This is from the 3rd. It's from the 2nd. Matthew Ferris died. Okay, we still don't know the reason, right? Yeah, I don't see. We still don't know why he did it. This is the 4th, the 5th. The 5th would have been the closest, I guess. I'll look to see if there's anything new on this. Matthew Ferris, 9, saved his mom's life. Okay. We still don't really know what happened, though. I'd like to know why he was even shot. It's sad when you don't know. Let's see. More people. Let's see. One survived, so shocked. The other dead survivor. Faces. Okay. Do we have any reason yet? Yeah. Faces murder and attempted murder charges. His arraignment adjourned because he remained unconscious. Yeah, it didn't even say. So actually, his wife, the suspect's wife, can't understand why. And usually you could think there's got to be reasons. Maybe the guy was threatening him, or he owed money for the guy, and the guy wouldn't, lay off of the guy. Whatever the reason, the guy just never had a reason for killing him. The estranged wife of the man who allegedly went on the shooting rampage in Southern California earlier this week that left 4 people dead, including a 9-year-old boy, said that she could not fathom why her husband targeted people who had treated her family for more than a decade, treated her like family. Police say the suspect, I don't know if I can say that, Aminadab Gaxiola Gonzalez had targeted the mobile home brokerage company, United Homes, and had personal and business relationships with the victims. His wife, Alenda Mendoza, had worked in the Orange County business for more than 10 years as a broker consultant. Mendoza, in a text message, said that she and Gaxiola had been separated for 2 years. He never told me anything about where he was staying or what he was doing. I can't understand what went through his head to make such a terrifying decision. Gaxiola, 44, was charged with 4 counts of murder and 3 attempted murder counts for firing at officers who were not hit and critically wounding the boy's mother. And let's see here. Yeah, it doesn't say anything there either. Doesn't say why he did it. I'm really curious why he would take somebody's life. And, we don't know. We don't know why. So, I'm sure there's a bad reason for it, but I don't know. 3 dead from 4 injured. 3 dead, 4 injured in an early morning shooting at a North Carolina house party. Oh, man. And people probably weren't even wearing their masks. It's supposed to be funny. But, it says here that 3 people were killed and 4 others were injured during an early morning shooting at a house party in Wilmington, North Carolina. Gunfire erupted at the home on Kidder Street just after midnight on Saturday. Officers arrived, found 7 people who had been shot, 3 of them fatally. The injured victims were hospitalized in unknown conditions. We're working to notify family members of this tragic event and are unable to release the names of the victims. So, that's really sad. I don't know. It'd be strange if they fought over masks. Okay. All right, next. Person County deputies shoots to death a man holding hostages. Ooh, this was on the 3rd. This was right before the holiday. And, you think that you're getting all ready to have a celebration with your family for Easter, and you don't get very far. Oh, I wonder if this is the same one, though. No, this is a different one, right? Oh, yeah, it's a different one. North Carolina was having fun. Oh, boy. Second North Carolina shooting in a row. North Carolina State of Bureau of Investigations is reviewing a fatal deputy-involved shooting that occurred Friday. I guess it was 2 days before Easter. Sheriff Dewey Jones said the deputy was dispatched around 10 p.m. Friday in response to an incomplete 911 call from a location on the 1300 block of Clay Long Road in Hurdle Mills. When a deputy arrived, they found a man with a gun holding 3 people hostage. The deputy was called for assistance and demanded the man drop his weapon. The man refused and pointed the gun at the hostages, and the deputy fired at him and hit him at least 1 time, according to the sheriff. When asked how many shots the deputy fired, Jones said he believed the total would have been 3. Said that the SBI would confirm the exact number. Hey, who cares how many, as long as he got him. Did he kill him? Yeah, he shoots to death. That's really bizarre. I guess you're not going to get a confession out of him. So, said here, Jones said one of the hostages had previously obtained a domestic violence protection order against the man. He said he had told one of the victims had been assaulted by the suspect and said that a portion of the investigation was handled by the SBI. So, well, if you hold people hostage, you're going to end up dying, possibly. Hey, puppy, what are you doing? Puppy dog. Hey, talking to you, puppy dog. I'm talking to the puppy dog. Yeah, puppy. I love my puppy. All right. Anyway, next. Person shot as a Porsche and Lamborghini stolen from a Miami Beach home. You start playing with stealing people's property, you're looking for trouble. Especially someone that has a Lamborghini and a Porsche. Chances are they have money too. I don't know. I just don't understand. If you don't have it and you didn't work for it, don't take somebody else's that did. That's my feeling. I mean, geez. It's just very, very uncool. It says a late-night luxury car robbery turned into a shooting, a standoff with hostage negotiation, and one of 4 car thieves in custody. Police, where are we at? We're in Miami. Okay, yeah. Beach police originally said on Sunday 2 people have been taken into custody after the incident, which began Saturday night and stretched into Sunday's first hours. Police say a 911 call concerning a car robbery and possible home invasion summoned officers to 4395 Pine. Hey, I shouldn't tell you this because then you'll try to steal their stuff too. Police said the four men came over the front wall. Weren't interested say the four men who came over the front wall weren't interested into the that doesn't even make sense. Police say the four men who came over the front wall weren't interested into the home as much as weren't interested in the home. That's a second grammar thing we caught. They weren't interested in the home as much as the Rolls Royce, the white Porsche, and the green Lamborghini, and the Range Rover parked in the driveway. Security guard on the property shot the robber in the Range Rover. His cohort in the Rolls jumped in either the Porsche or the Lamborghini, and all three raced away. The shot man in the Range Rover eventually gave up after a standoff that lasted until 2 a.m. So the guy had 4 cars, and they all were stolen? That's really sad. Oh. All 3 raced away. Those interested, those with information, geez, guy lost 4 cars. Man, I wonder how much. Okay, so a Lamborghini is probably $300,000. The Rolls are probably $300,000 or so. The Range Rover is probably $150,000, and the Porsche is easily $150,000. So that's like $1 million worth of cars sitting there. I think they should have, if they had that kind of money, they should have parked them not outside. Not that they did anything wrong, but just you can't trust people. People are going to take it if you got it. That's what I heard anyway. Did we do this one? I think we did this one, didn't we? Yeah, we did do that one. Okay. Got another, what time is it? Okay, yeah. Do this COVID one, because that's our next category. All right, here we go again. Got all kinds of stuff for you.
Add travel to the activities vaccinated Americans can safely enjoy again, according to new U.S. guidance issued Friday. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention updated its guidance to say fully vaccinated people can travel within the U.S. without getting tested for the coronavirus or going into quarantine afterward. Still, CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky urged caution and said she would advocate against general travel overall given the rising number of infections. If you are vaccinated, it is lower risk, she said. According to the CDC, more than 100 million people in the U.S., or about 30% of the population, have received at least one dose of a COVID-19 vaccine. A person is considered fully vaccinated 2 weeks after receiving the last required dose. The agency has said it would update its guidance on allowed activities for vaccinated people as more people get the shots and evidence mounts about the protection they provide. Outside a San Francisco Convention Center, Kara Roche, a consultant with the tech company, welcomed the news after getting her second Pfizer shot. "I'm thrilled that this summer there might be opportunities for us to go somewhere," she said. Roche said she normally travels overseas for vacation at least twice a year. Since the pandemic started, she has only traveled to Utah and Texas for work. "I'll still be cautious. I'm not looking to go on a cruise. I'm not looking to be in mass crowds and I'll probably not go overseas," she said. "But absolutely, if it's open and the CDC says we can do it, I'm looking forward to going somewhere in the States." For people who haven't been fully vaccinated, the CDC is sticking to its recommendation to avoid unnecessary travel. If they do travel, the agency says to get tested 1 to 3 days before the trip, and 3 to 5 days after. People should also stay home in quarantine for 7 days after travel, even if their COVID-19 test is negative, the agency says. According to data through Thursday from Johns Hopkins University, the U.S. is averaging 66,000 daily new cases this past week, up from 55,000 2 weeks ago. The new guidance says fully vaccinated people can travel within the U.S. without getting tested for the coronavirus or quarantining. People should still wear masks, socially distance, and avoid crowds, the agency says. For international travel, the agency says vaccinated people do not need to get a COVID-19 test before leaving, unless the destination country requires it. For travelers coming into the U.S., vaccinated people should still get a negative COVID-19 test before boarding a flight, and be tested 3 to 5 days after arrival. They do not need to quarantine. The agency noted the potential introduction of virus variants and differences in vaccine coverage around the world for the cautious guidance on overseas travel. Already, air travel in the United States has been picking back up. Although traffic remains down by nearly half from a year ago, more than 1 million travelers daily have been going through U.S. airports in recent weeks. I was surprised that our flight was kind of full, said Telva Aguilar, after arriving at Oakland Airport from Southern California to visit her grandchildren on Friday. Aguilar works in a hospital and has been vaccinated, but said she is still being cautious. Airlines do not require COVID-19 tests or proof of vaccination for travel in the U.S. A few states have testing or quarantine rules for travelers. The CDC cited recent research on the real-world effects of the vaccines for its updated guidance. Last month, the agency said fully vaccinated people could visit with each other indoors without wearing masks or social distancing. It also said vaccinated people could visit with unvaccinated people from a single household under similar conditions, as long as the unvaccinated individuals were at low risk for severe illness if infected. The U.S. began its vaccine rollout in mid-December. Pfizer and Moderna vaccines require 2 doses given a few weeks apart. A one-shot vaccine by Johnson & Johnson was given the green light by regulators at the end of February. Despite getting his second Pfizer shot on Friday, Mick Peacock, a fire inspector in San Francisco, isn't planning on traveling anytime soon. If he and his wife do any traveling this year, he said they would rent an RV and hit the road. I think we all want a beach holiday right now, but I don't think it's safe, he said. I don't look at the numbers anymore, because we've all been looking at those numbers too long.
Yeah. I went to the beach last year a couple times. It's not, I mean, everybody seemed to keep socially distanced, but I would imagine that this year people won't be socially distancing because they'll say, hey, you know, it seems to be okay because we're all alive. I don't know. I just wish that it was a better way to do things. I wish it was, you know, a way that we would feel a little more secure about the stuff that's going on. But that's not going to happen. So we just got to trust. That's the toughest part. So I don't know. That was the last video that I had for the week. I just want you to know that you suffered through them, and you got through them, and I think they sound a little more interesting than me talking the whole night. It's the crimes one. Now we got stuff here. Okay, let me see where we got. You know, VW, I said last week they're now called Volkswagen, not Volks. They were Volkswagen, they're now Volkswagen. They're really stepping it up in the electric market. They're going to try to kick it in gear, and it says here they're going to switch to mass producing these electric vehicles with bidirectional charging next year. And that could be interesting because they're going to probably overtake Tesla to a certain degree in sales, but they still don't have the electric network that Tesla has right now. So hopefully, you know, I mean, they're a reasonably priced vehicle, and hopefully they're going to be able to keep up with the demand. It says here that Volkswagen has confirmed it will switch all of its MEB-based electric vehicles to support bidirectional charging next year. It could give a big boost to vehicle-to-grid technologies. Vehicle-to-grid, during the early days of electric revolution, the industry was cautious about the use of battery packs, as longevity was a big question, but now the industry as a whole is getting more confident that well-managed battery packs can last a long time, some of them as underused assets. Some EVs have big battery packs enabling 200 plus miles of range, but they travel fewer than 40 miles a day. As the fleets of vehicles grows in some markets, controlling when the electric vehicles can charge on an electric grid has great value for balancing the load and avoiding running expensive, polluting peaker power plants. If those electric vehicles could also put power that they don't need back into the grid, that would have greater value. The technology is often referred to as vehicle to grid. An electric vehicle with bidirectional charging can send power back to the grid or at home or even to another vehicle. Some of these companies and electric utilities have been exploring the idea of using a fleet of electric vehicles equipped with bidirectional charging to help balance the grid when needed. With big enough fleets, it could provide very valuable grid services by taking back some of the power that thousands of vehicles don't need, and in return, the EV owners would get compensated. So, in essence, it would be like I don't drive that much anymore because I don't have anywhere to go, and with COVID and all that stuff, I don't want to run around just for the sake of running around. But the problem is that there's only a limited number of electric vehicles equipped with bidirectional charging. I don't think that Tesla's one of them. I have to double check that, but that would be something interesting that I would see them as wanting to investigate, because it says here the Nissan's the most popular EV with the capacity, but that's about it. However, there's many new EVs coming with the capacity. The Hyundai Ioniq 5 is equipped with that technology, and Tesla commented that all future vehicles will be equipped with it. So at this point, it is not, but it will be. So it's a pretty interesting thing that they're looking at doing, and I would like to see that. It would be interesting to see that take place in. I don't know. I don't know how much I would use it, but still would be interested. I read about this today. In Russia, they tried to have their own kind of Tesla, but they commissioned a gun maker, Kalashnikov, and Putin tried to take on Elon Musk and Tesla. Now, I got to tell you that the vehicle is not very sexy, and the vehicle actually, for what it is, depending what price point it would come in at, could be interesting, but it just doesn't have the sexiness of the Tesla. So as far as sexiness, it's not going to do it. But it says here, it's the year 2018. COVID-19 isn't a thing. The American-made Tesla 3 is a leading global electric vehicle sales market. It seems relatively normal. Casting a beady eye over the progress is the economic rival in terms of EVs and EV tech. Russian president and former KGB man Vladimir Putin has decided he fancies a slice of the EV market to show that Russia, despite being economically crippled by Western sanctions, could go toe-to-toe with the U.S. on the global EV market. Well, needless to say, their car looks like something out of the 50s. Looks like a station wagon out of the 50s or 60s. And it's because you have a Russian arms guy that's building it. So that's what you get. You get what you pay for. But anyway, it says that shouldn't be a surprise. Found in the early days of the Cold War. And it says anything you can do, I can do better. I don't think that happened. I don't think that they actually did it better. But it has a... Let me take a look here. After seeing the success that Tesla's made, the Russian government decided it would build its own Tesla. The company is the internationally recognized gunmaker Kalashnikov. That's right, Kalashnikov is the one that made the AK-47. And Kalashnikov still makes firearms, but it's branched out into the production of precise weapons and military tech, including remote-controlled weapon stations. So your car is going to be really kind of weird. It's going to be like your dad's car, I guess. At this point, you're probably wondering what's got to do with building the Russian equivalent to Tesla. Kalashnikov is owned by Rostec, the state corporation for assistance and development, production and export of advanced technology industrial product Rostec. In short, Rostec is the state body that assists companies specializing in high tech. And when completed, the car was unveiled in August of 2018 as the Army 2018 International Military Forum in Russia. The event celebrated how cutting-edge Russian tech was. Yet, when it broke cover, the car, now going under the official Kalashnikov CV1 moniker, wasn't what the motoring and press expected. Instead, mimicking the curvaceous, swooping lines of the Tesla Model 3, Kalashnikov has gone totally opposite direction. The CV1 appeared to be more of a Cold War relic than an aerodynamic designed EV penned with range and efficiency in mind. Decked out in the cool duck egg blue paint job and the concept of an electric supercar, the CV1 looked like a mean, electrified, post-apocalyptic version of Moskvich 412 Combi, a hatchback derivative of the clunky, slightly unwieldy yet endearing Moskvich 412 car produced by the IZH car maker in 67 to 82. I mean, the car looks kind of cool, but it is not kind of, it's kind of, I don't know, kind of not cool. I don't know, it just really was a big letdown. I mean, even the car door handles going in are like the old push-button car handles of like the cars in the 70s and such. I just think it's funny that they were going to put this big car together and it just isn't. It says it measured 50 centimeters by 100 centimeters and would give the CV1 680 horsepower, which isn't too bad. I mean, that's not too bad. But considering this car was about as aerodynamic as a house brick, it claimed that it got a range of 220 miles and a 0 to 62 time of about 6 seconds. So, I mean, actually, it's not bad, but it's kind of weird looking, and like I said, it just mimics a car from the 70s with electric. So, it'd be faster than some of the muscle cars, but just not sexy looking. So, who knows? It's really funny, but it's just kind of strange to think about that being the big Tesla killer. Just isn't going to kill any Teslas. So, yeah. And actually, the GMC Hummer is an 830 horsepower. It's going to hit the streets in 2023. I remember when the Hummers first came out, I was thinking, why would anybody buy something that big? That's just huge. But people did. People bought it. And actually, I think this one's probably closer to the H2 Hummer than the original Hummer. But I'm not really sure, because and actually the one at Hummer looked really kind of cool. That I just closed that article. Dummy. Open it up again. There it is. Okay. So it looks pretty, I mean, the one on the right looks kind of interesting because it looks like a Jeep with the tailgate and stuff in the back. It unveiled the first electric SUV that they're going to have, the Hummer EV SUV. The Edition 1 Hummer will hit the streets by early 2023 and cost roughly $106,000. By 2024, it plans to sell an $80,000 version with 250-mile range and more than 600 horsepower. And I don't know. If again it comes down to charging for me, I mean, I'm interested in fast charging, and that's my main interest with Tesla, because I don't know that they're going to be a quicker charge. It says the Hummer EV SUV debuts with roughly 160,000. And the off-road package brings the Edition 1 up to 110,000. The Edition 1 will have 830 horsepower and a range of 300 miles. The pickup version plans to sell a series of affordable Hummer SUV models following the Edition 1's launch. I mean, the inside looks pretty interesting, but it looks a lot smaller than I thought that the inside would look. So I think it's deceptive how big it is, but it looks interesting. The base EV2 version will sell for $80,000 and get at least 250 miles of range, 625 horsepower. I guess we'll see. I just wonder how big it really is. It doesn't seem to be the size of even the small Hummers of the past. But I can't really tell from the pictures here because the inside of it looks so small. It really, really, really looks small. So I can't figure out how big it is in reality on the inside. So if I can't figure that out, then the outside is probably not correct. And then it says here the best and worst states for EV charging. Because if you're going to have an EV, you got to have a state that's good for EV charging. And there's really not that many states that are really good at EV charging. When I looked at this chart, I thought, where is Pennsylvania? Because that's where I'm at. Where's Pennsylvania on this chart? And it's not very good. And I could have told you that because I know, because of the fact that I'm in Pennsylvania, that it is not that good. But states around us are a little bit better than that state. Just to give you an idea, the best states, the most charging points: Vermont, California, Massachusetts. Vermont surprises me, and Massachusetts kind of surprises me, but California doesn't surprise me. The best states for charging points per 1,000 EVs: West Virginia, that surprises me. Wyoming, that surprises me. And Rhode Island, that surprises me. Those are three that I wouldn't have expected. But, here's the states. So the good ones, the number of EVs in California are 256,000. Registered vehicles, that's out of 31 million registered vehicles. Charging outlets, 32,000. So roughly, what is that? That's 3% of the number of vehicles. They have charging stations for 3% if there were 32 million vehicles. EVs per 100, 822 EVs per 100,000 vehicles. So out of 100,000 vehicles, you only have 822. That's a really small number, but it's a bigger number than a lot of states. Outlets per 1,000 vehicles, 104 outlets. And outlets per 1,000 vehicles, 1,000 EVs is 126. So that's, California has by far by far the biggest amount of EVs. So number two would be There's 28,000 there. Wait a minute. Number of EVs. 28,000 seems to be the next number. That would be Washington State. 28,000 out of 7 million vehicles. Pennsylvania is really poor. We're 7,900 EVs out of 10 million EVs. That's really pitiful when you think about it. And we have 2,100 charging stations, charging outlets, I should say. So, yeah. It's kind of interesting because I look at that. I look at New York. They have 16,000 EVs, have 11 million cars, and they have 5,700 charging stations. That is pretty good. That's pretty darn good. And I wouldn't have expected New York to be one of the guys that is the top ones. And then Texas has 22,000 EVs out of 23 million, so roughly 10%. And they have 4,600 charging stations. That's, I guess respectable. And Texas is, of course, an oil state. I wonder if DC's in here. It's DC. Because DC was pretty good when we were driving through there. I don't see that it is. Yeah, they don't have DC in there. I'm really surprised that there's nothing for DC. Oh, here it is. DC, yeah. 350,000 vehicles, 970 are EV. So that's a pretty, actually a pretty good number. But there's only 630 charging stations. I thought there would be a lot more than that because when I went there seemed to be a lot of charging stations in one place. And actually, when I went to Virginia, let's take a look at Virginia. Virginia has 7 million cars, 8,300 are SUVs. They have 2,265 charging stations. That doesn't seem too bad. Because that's like 3 vehicles per charging station. So it's, I don't know. Some of these places are better than others. I mean, Vermont has 820,000, or is that 600? 620,000 cars, and 1,000 of them are EVs, and 786 have charging stations. So that's one and change. But I don't know. It's really, really interesting to see how they have all decided that they were, apparently Vermont has a lot of, considering it's a small state too, they have a lot of EVs and a lot of EV charging stations. So it's interesting to me. West Virginia has 1,000,006 vehicles. 230 are EVs, 244 charging stations. They have 14 EVs per cars that are out there. They have 1,061 charge outlets per 1,000 EVs. Seems a little kind of weird that would be that way, but they seem to be doing. It's a growing industry, and we're going to see more outlets coming out within. Says the most outlets, most charging points per vehicle: Vermont, California, Massachusetts. States with the least charging is West Virginia, Wyoming, and Rhode Island. I got there's a lot of growth there. That's why I think that if I were buying stock right now, I'd be seriously considering companies that are going to buy or build these charging stations, because they're going to be the ones that are going to take and help grow this industry. And if you get in on the ground floor, it's going to be a couple years, but I would imagine that that's going to be it's going to be another utility. So if you're going to buy stocks and you're going to hold on to stocks, the time to buy stocks might be now or soon, because they're going to be building these things because there's a need for these. As you know, these states are going to be mandating that these EVs grow, and just something to think about. And it's something I've been thinking about too, because I know that there's a few stocks out there that are all about EVs and electric and stuff like that. So let's see. Okay. Did we do that? Did we do this? Did we share this? I don't know. I don't know if I shared it or not. Oh, I did share it. Okay, good. I can delete it then. All right. All right. Now, I guess we can play a song from my album. Let me see. Which one did we do already? I believe we have... Yeah, I'll do this one. This is called Want Her Back, off my album, Love in a Blender. And I think you would like it. Enjoy it. I guess I should start it over because you didn't get to see the beginning now. So I'll start it over. There you go.
I want her back.
That was Want Her Back. Off the Uncle Sam Band CD, Love in a Blender. Hey, did I not turn that off at all? Wait a minute. Why am I up there? It's working. Why isn't it working? Well, that's weird. My hands are up. Can't put them down. Why? Why? I don't understand. What is wrong with my camera today? It's weird. I can't move my hands. Look, see, I'm moving my hands now and it's not moving. Alright, I guess then it's time to end the show because I can't bring my hands down for some reason. What is it all about? Why is it doing this to me? I want to know. I need to know. I need to know. Why is my hand stuck in the air? Why am I in frozen? Why can't I unfreeze my arms? Did I do this already? I think I did already. Well, I guess I did. Okay. Alright, people. Hope you enjoyed the show. Oh, my hands went down. Now we're okay. Alright. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the show. I will see you next week. Same bat time. Same bat channel. And we will talk to you later. Thank you for listening. And have a good one.